Ghana, this is Confessions on TV3, brought to you by MTN everywhere you go. Tonight, our confession is about one child wishing her mother dead. I am so curious about what would make a child want to wish her mother dead. And so we're going to go straight into the confessions booth, listen to her confession, come back here, see what we'll make of it. The stories, they are for us to learn a thing or two from. And I hope that so far, Confessions has been that show that brings you that impact that you need. Tonight's gonna be amazing. People, let's get to it. I am seated in the Confessions booth as a woman and also as a mother. This young woman tells me that she has a wicked mother and she wishes her mother dead. And I'm wondering, as a mother, what would cause my child to wish me dead? My dear, how are you doing?
I'm okay, Miss Nancy.
I'm very interested in your confession, your story. My ears are wide open. Shoot.
Miss Nancy, my brother and I were exposed to hookup scene by my mother at a very tender age. I was 8 years by then and my brother was 6 years. After the death of my father's family sacked us from the house.
Oh.
And my mom's family were not willing to accept us back as well. So we had no option but to be sleeping in front of people's shop at the market. We had to quit schooling because life was tough. There was this man that liked my mother at that time, and he just wanted to take advantage of my struggling mother. But my mother refused, and he never gave up. When I was 12 years, this man was still coming. He used to come and see my mom. And then one day, even though he told her he wanted to marry her, he was just lying to her, but never supported her. He never gave her a penny. My mom had to struggle to take us back to school. One day when I had clothes from school, on my way home, he called me to come, that he has something for my mom, and I should follow him to his room. I followed him to his room, and he slept with me.
Oh. How old were you then?
I was 12 by then.
Jeez.
I was in so much pain. I was crying. And he gave me one CD as a gift to buy toffee with it. Going home, I couldn't walk well. When I arrived, I told my mom about it. And later on, I realized I had STD, which is sexually transmitted diseases. I told her, and she told me to spread it to the people I sleep with. Can you imagine, Miss Nancy? How can a mom do that? She couldn't even take me to the hospital for a checkup. My life was ruined. And the people in the neighborhood were always saying, you are a bad girl, you are a bad girl. But it wasn't my fault. Now my mom is sick and she's in the hospital. She said I should go out and do hookup and bring back the money to pay for her hospital bills. But honestly speaking, she doesn't deserve to live. I want her to rot in the hospital. That is my story, Miss Nancy. I need an advice. Thank you.
The issues of people's lives. Sometimes I get the impression that people go through hell when they are young, and then they experience heaven when they are old, whilst others would go through heaven whilst younger and experience hell. But looks like that's not the case of this young woman. It's been hell throughout. Now, I get her point. I get her point, but I don't even know what to say. Let's get into the studio and get our resource persons to help this poor young woman. Ohianye. And I, as a mother, pray that will be the best thing that would ever happen to my daughter, and if I have any more. But on the show tonight, we heard the confession of a woman that is actually wishing her mother dead. Having heard the confession, do you guys think that this woman is better off without a mother than having one at all?
Miss Nancy, good evening.
Good evening, my lady.
Miss Nancy, I don't think it's necessary for the girl to say she wants her mother to die. Yes. Because out of pain and frustrations, we just say anything. So what she needs to do right now is that she has to seek for a psychological help and also see a doctor to treat her STDs and seek for advice from counselors and even pastors. Yeah.
Well, this is a mother who, even on her deathbed, is not allowing her daughter to be a virtuous woman, asking her to go get hooked up, prostitute around to get money for her medical bills. Is this woman allowed to live? Should she live? Guys.
Miss Nancy, this woman in question, I don't know, like, I think she's thinking about herself, but not the daughter. At her age, you introduce her to a certain lifestyle that can affect her future and her destiny. She encountered rape. Your friend, even the same woman friend, raped her at the verge of, like, she even was not thinking of such thing can happen to her. But in all these things you are not thinking about, you are still asking her to go and spread the STDs that she's having.
And still sleep with other men to make money for her hospital
insane.
bills.
That's insanity. Because you are thinking of, because you want to get your wellness, so she should go and bring the money for you to get better or something. I don't even understand why she's doing that. I think there's a problem somewhere.
Whenever I hear of stories like this, the woman in me, the mother in me is alive, and I cannot bear to see my child go through pain. There are times when your child is sick. You want to take the sickness, if you could, just exchange for you to be sick so that your child would be well. So I do not know at which point a mother does not care what her child goes through. To help us with this conversation again tonight is a George Yao Ochre, a relationship consultant and a father. More importantly, a father. And with him is my lady, Reverend Catherine Emmanuel. She is a counselor, an author, and a life coach. A very elegant Ofeyao. You look good.
Thank you very much.
See, Ofeyao in blue, you look awesome. Please show some love to my lady. My lady. She is so polished. Did anybody ever tell you that you look like former First Lady Nana Kunedu Rollins? One of Ghana's most elegant.
I know.
One of Ghana's most elegant. So you're looking like her is already a compliment.
I tell you, sir.
Thank you, people, for always honoring our invitation to share your knowledge and experiences with us on the show. Tonight, my dear, we got to be mothers, and I need Ofeyao to also be a father. A woman allowed her child, her child was raped at the age of 12. And nothing happened by somebody she knew, and nothing happened. Who are we supposed to be as parents to our children? Maybe somebody watching us has forgotten what parenting is about. Somebody probably just thinks that just having birthed a child or served a child makes you a parent. Who are we supposed to be as parents to our children? Ladies first.
Thank you very much, Miss Nancy. Looking wonderful, very traditional and African.
Yeah, the Ghanaian, especially
the Ghanaian way.
The Ghanaian women.
That's
and
it.
everything Ghana. In fact, I'm actually wearing my Ghana hair.
You look very good. Okay,
Thank
so
you.
going back to the question, to the issue at hand. A mother watching the daughter raped at 12 and then
Did
not
nothing.
showing sympathy, empathy, or any of those. We shouldn't start the story at 12. As much as we want to identify with the pains of the child, the story should go back. This is a woman who had been wounded. This is a woman who has been broken. This is a woman who's faced life's vicissitudes. This is a woman who's lost it all. This is a woman who had to watch the children pull down and literally had nothing to have the children live on. This is a woman that the only person that hangs around her who ultimately has done this damage wanted to marry her, but he refused because of those children. She didn't want to marry her again. A woman that the husband's family has thrown out. Hurting people hurt others. I believe that it's time for us as a society to begin to look at the plight of people and not sit back when once they're exhausted, overwhelmed, and all of that, we drag them. As much as she has a part to play. But you see, life is much bigger than what we see. Sometimes people go through so much pain that they themselves become pain.
Aye.
So I see this woman wounding her daughter, being blind. This is a woman that has mental issues, mental health issues, and it's not been diagnosed because nobody really cares about her.
Yeah.
No true mother who is a nurturer. Women are born nurturers.
Yes.
Women are born to be protective over their children. There is something in us. We are wired to show love to our own. So when a woman gets to a point where that is lacking, there should be a question mark. Okay, so where is her family? Where are friends? Where are all those people who were supposed to help her through her journey? Because right now, things are falling apart. The issue is not this daughter wishing the mother dead. The issue is how she'll met out injustice to her children too. Because if she's not healed, you can only become what you went through. So I think that we should use this situation to really begin to address ourselves. Where is the human in us? Why was she left all by herself with 2 children? Where were the people who were supposed to be a support group to her? And then now let me also come back. Probably, I think that people should also, women, we should learn how to manage pain for maximum productivity. Yes. Because as I say that, a story that comes to mind for those who are Christians is the story of Tamar in Genesis 38. You know, Tamar had God kill the first husband because the guy was wicked and mean. Yes. And he married the brother to the husband. Brother. God killed the man because he was wicked and mean, you know. At the end of the day, she hung around wanting to marry the 3rd son, but the father-in-law thought she was the witch because some people are labeled for something they don't know anything about. That's another day. And so she ultimately had to leave home, leave the father-in-law, and went and disguised as a prostitute, just so that she can be connected to this tribe. There's something to learn. Nobody has monopoly of knowledge. When it comes to a situation like this, I think people should be open to learning and borrowing lessons from other people's experiences, which I believe if this woman had learned that, she would have realized that the husband would have died, family would have thrown her out, but life was not over. Life wasn't over. So as we progress, I believe that we'll get to a point where we as women, for those who are Christians, Bible in Psalms 127:3 says, children are the heritage of the Lord. The fruits of the womb, your reward. Don't throw your reward away because of your pain, because that reward can be the change of story for you.
Oh, our reward. And if you think something is your reward, you hold it dear. And it's your pride, and you protect it. The children that the Lord has blessed you with, dear man, woman, do you see them as your reward? Or just because you had them with somebody you do not love anymore, you had them when you didn't plan on having them, they have become nothing like a reward in your life. Tonight, think of these things. Offer.
Miss Nancy, it's a terrible situation. I feel so much for this young girl.
Yeah.
Especially these things, if it happened to her from a stepmom, or say the mother herself was dead, and she was living with somebody who didn't have any empathy towards her and did this to her, I would
there is a way we would all have understood, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But for this thing to have happened to the mother, I don't understand. Listening to the girl narrate the story, I felt that, this woman is not the biological mother of this child. Because doesn't the Bible say itself that kind of woman's tender care ever cease towards the child she bears?
Yet she may forgetful be.
She may, but that's a distant possibility. And so even animals, they care so much for their children. You see animals and they are very ferocious. If you see a dog that has given birth to puppies, see how violent they get if anybody gets close to. Even chicken, poor chicken.
Yeah.
You see them ever protective. Get towards chicken whose children are following.
Chicks under their wings.
You know? It's a natural sequence. It's something that exists in nature everywhere you look. So for a mother to do this to a child, well, it has happened. But it's not just the act of, I just want to concentrate on the rape side of the whole story that occurred to that young, when she was yet a young girl. Now, I'm wondering, where were the family of this woman when this thing happened to her child? What did anybody do? Did they just wash their hands and say, well, it's your own child? We probably weren't aware of whoever the father is. And so go on and live your life the way you want. Even so, I know extended family people would even have taken the child into their custody and taking care of her, knowing the mother is not really capable of taking care of her own child. All those didn't happen. And so the child is living with her mom. The mom who, by all intents and purposes, is not really fit to be a mother or to be called so. And then this thing happens. And I expected the mother to, when the child came back with the story that
she had been raped.
Stepdad had raped her, I expected the mother to really rise up. The motherly instinct should have kicked in and really pushed her into taking some action. And then law enforcement too. I always have my respect for them. But when it comes to issues like this, sometimes I hear it in the news and I think, did it really happen? Or did the story sound too some way for them to really act on it?
Pay attention.
You know, and they don't act on it. I would have expected them to really forget about the mother, but the child, for the child's sake.
Well,
it's so, but you know, when things like this happen, it's not only the physical that matters, but the emotional scars that are left on the poor child.
Like Mama Kathy said, we can imagine who and how her mother grew up to have become this woman and this mother, not to care about anything of this sort happening to her child. She probably had been through 3 times or 10 times what her daughter is going through, so she can be bothered. Wake kind of thing.
Yeah. It's, I mean, sad to say, it's a successive plan thing. So, succession plan thing. So the mother went through, probably the grandmom went through, and then the mother went through. Now this one is going through, and who knows who else will go through.
As a woman, stories like this just gets me off.
It tears
now,
me
I
apart.
think that we need to speak to the professionals about this. Let's go out there and ask, yes, is every woman, every feminine supposed to be a mother? Are we at a place where we have to look at people critically? We've heard other people elsewhere in the world saying that, I don't want to be a mother. I don't think I'm fit to be a mother. All I care about in this life is myself. I cannot share myself with any other human, and so they don't. As a people, if we're having challenges like this, does it mean that really not every woman is fit to be a mother? The professional should tell us the makeup of a woman psychologically, if every one of us is fit to be a mother. Let's take this one.
Hello, my name is Seth Mausi Asafo. I'm a lecturer with the University of Ghana Medical School and a clinical psychologist. And today we discuss domestic abuse or intimate partner violence. When anybody goes through any kind of abuse for that matter, it leaves them feeling less of themselves. So you have issues with self-esteem, you have issues of consistently watching their back, so there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of depression, feeling low at being treated that way. And also when there's evidence of extreme forms of abuse, people may develop post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, let's not even forget that in a lot of abuse where there's physical abuse too, they have things that are related to physical challenges that they may have. And so the range of things that happens to a person when they go through an abuse are varied. in terms of human coping, there are positive and negative coping mechanisms. So you can have what we call adaptive coping mechanisms, and you can have maladaptive coping mechanisms. Now, after an abuse, somebody may employ a maladaptive coping mechanism of using alcohol to drown their sorrows. Some people may become extremely promiscuous in a sense to gain control over the abuser. And I'm saying this specifically with women in mind. Now, in some instances also, you may find that people may also develop some kind of positive coping approach, which is talking about the problem. And we say that in abuse, the first step is to talk about it. Many abuses happen in silence or in the dark. It happens because nobody is talking about it, and because the abuser conditions you to believe that if you do speak about it, something grave will happen. So these coping mechanisms can be positive or negative. But in many cases, you find that people may also take on an avoidance coping where they may never want to get into a relationship ever again. And those are things that are worth highlighting. If you have a friend or a family member who's been through a domestic abuse, being there for them is but the first step. Helping them to talk about it and seek help is the second step. Now, a lot of the times I tell people that don't be eager to solve their problem for them. Don't say, if it were me, I would do this. They're going through a situation that they believe they don't have a control over. But by being there for them empathetically, they will come around. So yours is to point them out to help and encourage them, in fact, take them to that place. Be more understanding than judgmental. Time away from your abuser always helps to reset a lot of things. So from our perspective and treatment guidelines, the first thing we do is to take the person away from the abuse situation. Safety allows for us to think in more structured ways. That's the first thing. Second thing has to do with rebuilding the same things and helping people find the same values that they used to have. And that once empowers them to gain confidence within themselves, they are able to thrive. For example, if a partner had asked one person not to work, getting them back to work and making them recognize that they are capable, also because they are within a group of people that consistently will encourage them and give them words of assurance and reinforcement, can be a key stake to help them bounce back and gain themselves.
You are welcome back. That is what the professionals had to say. Right here in the studio, is there a contribution or a question? Please pass the microphone on to him. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miss Nancy.
You're
As
welcome.
usual, you look so Ghanaian, super Ghanaian, the definition of a Ghanaian woman.
Thank you.
Right. Miss Nancy, I am actually proud of the woman until the point of the rape. Because this is the woman who has suffered emotional bruises, dejection, and disgrace. Because your husband is dead, his family threw you out, like support from nowhere.
Wow.
And for all you know, she has been doing this hookup to take care of the kids. And it has worked for her. And actually, I want us to give it up for parents. Like, we never know what they go through to take care of us. So I want us to give it up for our parents.
I celebrate mine.
Yeah. You understand? Until the point of the rape. And I think, I'm no expert, but I think she's suffering from trauma, like mental health. Because no mother will tell the daughter, go and do hookup. Or spread the STDs. So I think they both need help. But when you take care of the mother, it will have that condescending effect to the daughter. So, yeah.
Now, any other person? Yes, my dear.
I always say that I believe in the dignity of labor, whether with head or with hand, that the whole world owes everyone the opportunity to earn a living. You being a single mother, you go to church, you belong to Mbeku, however they say it. You have a lot of people in the area that you could consult. So the big question is, what is the individual doing to assist people like that? Children, they go to Sunday school, they pay offering.
Yeah.
When the issue came up that the mom was thrown out from the home, what did they do? Nothing. And let's see what has happened now. So every one of us owe as an opportunity to earn a living. And for you, if you are ever going through something, it doesn't give you the guarantee just to involve in any social vices. The fact you have hands, you have head, it has to work for you. That is all.
Thank you. Now, looking back at our story, don't you think that this woman is saying, like he assumed, that this probably is a woman who has been sleeping around just to take care of her children? So if you're of age, why don't you pay me back by sleeping around to take care of me too? One good turn deserves another, doesn't it?
It's very true, and it's very common that people are dysfunctional and they engage in activities that at the end of the day are not supposed to be embraced. You will never tell what somebody is doing to be able to take care of their children. You will never be able to tell. It's not everybody that has the fear of God. It's not everybody that is able to hold themselves back when they are faced with very difficult situations, you know. So at the end of the day, maybe she's suggesting what she's familiar with. Because remember, these children moved away when they were 6 and 8. And the daughter is now 12. So it's 6 years after being thrown out.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe that is what she knows to do. And there are women like that. They trade, they engage in to allow the family move on or survive on is what they will also introduce. But I think that there is an integral part of us understanding that this woman is really wounded by life.
Are we not just being kind? Probably she's just an evil woman.
Okay,
We're just assuming that a normal person, but you know, there are individuals that care less about any other person but themselves. They are just wicked people. Let's look at it from that angle too.
So I'll use 2 examples.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
do a lot of work with young people and elderly, marriage, single. I went to minister in a school, about 2,000 children. 2,000 JSS, 3 children. Collected from different schools gathered. And as I was making my presentation, I noticed that there's a young girl who was reclining perpetually, almost throughout, on a boy. They are all students. And so I stopped and I told her to sit straight and not rest on the shoulder of the boy.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you play cheap and then you become vulnerable. They take advantage of you. Okay, so I moved on and I finished. When I finished, the young lady came back. This is a JSS 3. That opened a can of worm that I don't want us to go into. This is a girl that has been abandoned by father, mother. Nobody takes care of her. And she's in JS 2, JS 2 or 3. And is being taken care of by a hotel manager who is sleeping with her and then looking at her and insulting her from head to toe of all her body parts. So she's lost confidence and worth completely. Where is the mother? I encountered another one who says, my mother said, I finished JS 3. I cannot feed you again. So now she cooks, and the daughter should never touch the food because she has done all she knew to do. So she should go fend for herself. Going to fend for herself, a JS3 graduate, she got pregnant. Now she couldn't feed herself. She's brought a child into the world because there was nobody taking responsibility. I can go on and on, not just girls, boys. So it is high time, like you said something. I believe that there should be a policy direction. As much as there is globalization and a lot of infiltration of policies that are not really familiar, it doesn't fit the terrain where we live in. The government should begin to look inward because I am afraid for a couple of years to come.
Oh, yes.
Criminality will be bad. People will be so pained to a point that they take on actions that they should not have taken on.
They will not care what they do to other people.
So if you have a woman who is not sane enough to have a child, how do we even figure out that she's not sane enough? What is the structure we'll put in place to be able to check these things? But Miss Nancy, truth is, there are people that should not have any access to young children because access to those children will break them. There are so many people who have been raped, molested, violated, and they are sitting as adults waiting to be time bomb to the next generation. It's time to look inward.
Thank you. This is an advocacy we all would want to get involved and get the government. Offer to our traditional setups. As Ghanaians, our family systems are extended. There is no one person that is of himself by himself. I was raised by my step-grandparents. My grandfather's wives raised us. My mother's mother was not part of our family then. But yet we felt loved, we were catered for, and everything by these 2 women whom we are not related to by blood. So if other people can do this for people who are not related to them, how much more you, a sister of somebody who is probably deceased, how you supporting our family, extended family system? Why are we breaking it over?
Well, I like the closing part of your statement. We are breaking it.
We are.
That is what is going on. We are breaking it. In recent past, people don't really get close together like we used to anymore. There have been instances where, growing up as a child, I knew, for instance, in Kumasi where I grew up, all the houses in the area, Adum, that I lived at, all the houses were built by successful cocoa farmers.
Yeah.
And the houses they built, they were the communal type.
Yes.
Where people who live in those houses were not like direct children of
the man.
whoever built the
his
house.
sister's children would be there, his
Oh,
brother's
my
children,
goodness.
his uncle B that helped him be.
And you will come to the house, and it's a big compound, and we all lived together. It's difficult to tell whose mother
Is
you
this
belong
and
to
whose
or
child?
whose child you are. And we all lived there. We will grow up, some will leave, others will stay, they will raise their children there, and that cycle continued. Somewhere down the line, we lost track of the way. And these things, people look at it these days and say, oh, what kind of situation was that? So now we build our houses, and it's a family unit house. So I live there together with my wife. If I have two children, my two children, that's all.
That's it.
And so there is a disconnect between my family and my extended family. My children will grow up not knowing their extended
their
family
cousins,
members.
their grandparents, nothing.
Nothing. And before any of my extended family members will come visit me, they will have to book an appointment. Or call me on the phone that I want to come and visit.
You know, before, by the time you're back from work, your cousin's children, your auntie's children, your mother.
He has finished school, and your sister asked the child to come
to your
live
uncle
in
in
the
city.
town with his uncle, and then they will come, and you dare not drive them back.
How?
So they become a part of the family, and all these things had some effect on family
Feeling
cohesion,
loved.
so that one person's problem is a problem for the
All
whole
of us.
family. And so if a child is going wayward, it's not only the parents whose responsibility it is to fix that erring attitude. But now everything has disintegrated. And so all these things that we never really dreamed of or even occurred to us that, okay, if this thing should go this way, these are the effects that will come. They are now beginning to visit us. And we are wondering, where is it coming from? It's coming from where we lost track in the way we lived together in community houses and also in rural areas, villages. I mean, you see every child. It's your child. Although you didn't give birth to the child, if a child is erring, you have the right to correct it. Now, can you do that?
I would advocate, let's go back, reconnect to our extended families, our grandparents, great-grandparents, cousins, first cousins, second. We only knew of cousins. There was no first, second, third in Po. Let us bring the family back together so that yebeswaswa, yehoneswa, ebia. We'll be right back. You are welcome back. Still right here in the studio, they have questions and they have contributions. Who is ready?
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
I would like to make this submission. Taking a look at the whole story, if the mother will be able to carry this child for 9 good months without even trying to abort or do any other thing, and God being faithful and just to her, that shall deliver successfully. And as at this point, at the age of 12, then this thing will come up. It's so pathetic.
It is.
And I think parents, especially our mothers, so far as God made it good for you to be able to conceive, and then take it up to the 9 months and give birth to that child, God can also take you through whatever challenge you are passing through. So I think parents should also learn from this and also try to know how to build the foundation of these little children so that they can be the future leaders of this country.
Yes, my dear.
Miss Nancy, I would like to actually applaud the lady for being bold enough to come out to share such a story.
Yeah.
Because on a more serious note, most of us are going through a lot of things in our home that we are not able to open up to anybody. It's like our families, some of our parents behave as if they didn't give birth to us. A lot of people are going through these things. They don't get anybody to even communicate and share their emotions with. And at the end of the day, if you to get a friend to share your emotions with, what will the person even make up of you? The way they are going to treat you. Some even take advantage of you as well. So I've been using this platform to actually plead on the government. Most of us are going through something. We don't get people to share it. We feel shy to even sometimes open up. So we are asking if there can be any anonymous app that we can share our emotions, our traumas with people out there who don't really know us, but can give us some level of solace.
That is exactly what we're doing right here on Confessions.
So I think that's a great job. And we need more of this because a lot of us are going through a lot of things. We just want one person or
whenever
two.
you are ready to share, my ears are wide open and my lips are sealed.
Thank you so much.
Well, that is it. You would think that your life is all rosy and you would think that you are the only one going through challenges. Trust you me, we are all in it together. Now, there are times that when I listen to people's stories, I want to sit down and say, I need a year swing. Because we might as well cry together. Sometimes getting someone to just cry with is healing.
Yeah, it's therapeutic.
It does a lot of good to you. Now, for this young lady, she doesn't say that she's learned any trade. She doesn't have any skill. After this, whether her mother is alive or dead, how is she going to pick her life back together? Let us help this young woman.
I think going forward, wherever she is, if she listens in, or any other person in the shoes of this young lady, it's important that they seek for help and then learn a vocation, like you said, something to do. Selling your body is no option at all.
Miss Nancy, I would want to maybe use this platform to suggest that this program, I mean, I don't think we have, I've looked around a little bit, and I don't see anything going parallel with it. I mean, as of now. And so I would want maybe the owners of this show to raise the bar even higher by becoming the conduit that will channel all the issues that come through here to the right sources and the right organizations, institutions, and so on. Because this girl, it appears to me that she doesn't have anywhere, any idea where she can seek any help from. And for her to bring the issue here, to me, is highly, highly, highly commendable. Because then at least she knows that it's a powerful medium. And maybe once we discuss it here, her plight will be projected out there so that she can get some help that she needs. And it's like her last stop is here. So from here, where does she go? I think it wouldn't help much if we just discuss it and then we rise up and we go.
And we leave it. We never do.
So
there is always help behind the scenes for the people that truly need it.
That would be the strength of this show.
Absolutely.
So that at least people don't bring their issues here.
We have recommended people to lawyers. We have recommended people to doctors. We have recommended some to psychologists. We've even given financial support to some people.
I doff my hat.
That is it. And we intend to do more. And the more sponsors we have on the show, the better we are able to do. So MTN Ghana, thank you. You are awesome. Whenever you pick your phone to make a call, whenever you send a text, whenever you use internet, you are supporting MTN Ghana to support Confessions on TV3 so we can make the impact that we have to. Thank you. Yes? Any question or contribution?
Miss Nancy, what I want to ask is that the house in which the mother and the children were staying, was it for the husband or the family? Is it a family house?
No, 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 no. They weren't away. They were thrown out of their family house, so
It
they
was a
went
family
renting.
house.
Yeah.
I, mean,
So
I was thinking it's for the husband.
no, 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 no.
Because
no.
I wanted to speak against that act in which, after the death of a husband or
They threw
father,
them
they threw
out.
them out.
They were
That-
thrown out.
Yes.
So you can speak against it.
That is a very bad, it's an evil thing to do. It's still happening. And I think the system, in Ghana here, we have to do something about it. Because it's really affecting people's life. Thank you.
Thank you. There are laws. So if you are knowledgeable and you go to the right resource, you will get the help you need. But if you just want to shut up, somebody would want to take advantage of you. Yes, over to him.
Thank you very much, Miss Nancy, for the opportunity again. I can forgive the lady, she's a teenager, to entertain that thought of death to her mom. You understand? You know, sometimes, just as our parents pray for us, we should also pray for them. They need us. And I'll tell every person, every daughter, every son here that do not wish death to your parents, no matter how bad they are or even evil they are, because at least they've brought you to the world. They've brought you are breathing, and whatever chilling you do, whatever thing it's because of they bringing you to the world, procreating you to the world. So please do not wish death.
You are speaking as a Christian, right?
Yes, I'm speaking as a Christian. And then
forgive one another,
yes, pray,
just as
no,
Christ has forgiven you.
I think the lady
When
should
your
pray
brother
for
is
him.
77.7 times.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
should forgive.
Yeah. Yes, because it is because you see, there's no.
You
smoke.
don't believe there should be.
There's no smoke
she
without
shouldn't
fire.
be forgiven.
There's no smoke without fire. This.
Forgiving sometimes it's circumstantial. You have to consider the circumstance before you forgive.
So it's not every day that you forgive, eh?
Until Goliath died, there was nothing in Israel.
Yeah.
So until some people live your life, you're not going to survive. They have to live early so that you also survive. Because if you don't do that, they are going to stay, inflict more pain on you, and then you'll be there saying you don't have to.
I get what you mean.
They have
but
to go early.
If they have to die, they shouldn't die at your hands.
No, I'm just praying. They are dying in the hands of God. I just pray.
Pray. I get it. I get it. Yes, gentlemen, let me take him, and then we wrap up the show for tonight.
I want to say that no matter the situation, your mom is your mom, and your blood still runs to her. She gave birth to you. She conceived you for 9 months. If she wanted you dead, she'd have taken you off. Exactly. I mean, there were situations that didn't go on well that led her to take some decisions. Sorry. But she's still your mom, no matter whatever you do.
So for you, she should continue praying for her mom.
No matter what, you need to still continue praying for your mom.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, this is the end of the show. The counselors are here. I love it when it becomes a conversation. Everybody has an opinion right here. But that is how it's supposed to be. Opinions, they say, are like noses. But that is why we have the leaders here to guide us to the right path. So we're wrapping up the conversation. To the girl who has been abused and to the mother who has been a terrible one. Hopefully, she's still in the hospital, and the channel would be on TV3. Apparently, all the big hospitals in Ghana, they're always watching TV3. TV3 is actually the age. Yeah. If you're not watching TV3, what could you possibly be watching? All right. Offer. Yes. To the gentlemen that leave these women alone, to do it alone. We're supposed to birth them. We're not supposed to raise them alone. We have the capacity, but it kills us. It drains us. Talk to the man.
There are a lot of men walking the face of this earth who really are not fathers. They are sperm donors. So they go in, donate, and then move on. Now, these things have existed since when? And there hasn't been any antidote, any prescription that has fixed it until now. And so people will fall victim to that system as long as man exists. But the only advice I can give is that, you know, most men who really do these things, and nature has a wonderful way of exacting vengeance, right? So the child will grow up. And then, before you are aware, they have grown into somebody influential, somebody wealthy, somebody that people really, he commands a lot of power and influence. It's then that you see this man, if he's not dead yet, old and gray, sick, poor, destitute, and then they will be trying to reach out to that child. And the child doesn't have any relationship with them. We've seen it played out so many times. And if these things don't serve as warning to would-be fathers so that they change their ways, I'm sure this cycle will continue till Jesus comes.
Yes, my lady, you had the first say and you would have the almost last say.
Almost, okay.
Almost,
Thank
because
you
I get to
very
wrap
much.
it up.
It's been an interesting scenario that we've been trying to look at here. It's very, very painful, it's sad, it's devastating. But I want to be straight with regards to who I'm addressing. Let some men, not all men are mean, let men protect the interests of children.
Yes.
Raping children is taking their dignity, and most times it doesn't end well, even with that child. Most don't recover from rape. Most don't recover from molestation. So many people we see on the streets have been abused.
Yes.
And then we blame them for what they do. We don't know the source of their pain and what happens. So I think that whether male or female, let us respect the fact that these children are the future of tomorrow. Don't break them before time. Number two, for the mothers, no matter how painful your story may sound, please don't throw away your children with the bathwater. And for the wounded children that are littered all over, some of them, this has evoked emotions. Just this confessions episode today, because you are taking them back to what they had gone through, and it evokes pain. I want to encourage you, listening, let me look into the camera right now. I know that you may have gone through things that if human beings were to hear the pain you've gone through, they will wonder why you're still alive.
Yeah.
But you see what? Don't allow the pain of your upbringing and the pain of your past to corrupt your future.
Sure.
Look for help. Meet Miss Nancy and the producers of this program. See, and my ministry is also there. We do a lot of this, but we can work through because it's collaboration. No one person can help solve this situation. Let us see how we can help. But I beg of you, pain of what you went through should not destroy your future. And anybody who tells you go do hookup or any of those things, forgive them and move on. Because like this young lady, she has STD. She can get help and healing. Let's get people back and let's be restored. I know the future is bright for all of us.
I had some words to say, but of course, as she said it all, I'll wrap up by saying that note the number that is scrolling under the screen. Listen, if you're a young woman especially, or even a young man in Accra who is into hookup because you've not found something to do and you genuinely know that this is not the life that you want to have, take this number, reach out to us, let us put together ourselves and help one another. Because if we do not save these ones, they are going to be the mother-in-laws, father-in-laws of the husbands of our children and the wives of our children. This is Confessions on TV3. My name is Miss Nancy, and the show was brought to you by MTN. Everywhere you go.